because 26 years ago when I was learning about nutritional counseling and all the things in therapy school, plants were optimal. Like it was like all the supplements and the plants and the drink the barley green and all the fiber and so when I came from my mom was a single mom and we were counting lunch meat slices for a sandwich, and to fill me up I was eating like bread balls, so like no wonder I was overweight growing up as a kid. And then to go from that and canned food and tuna helper and hamburger helper to getting all this education with plants and supplements and all the things, it was like the light, and it's just been progression for the last 26 years, but definitely had to do a lot of unlearning and relearning when it comes to nutrition.
Definitely, definitely. So let me introduce you to everybody. I'm kind of out of practice here. But we've got my good friend Kimberly up here, and she does so many amazing things. But I want to focus on kind of your journey, like kind of you kind of were telling us you're vegan, but like how you started and then how you got into coaching with Dr. Kiltz and all of that. Like I'm fast. I love Dr. Kiltz. I met him way back in Tempe at one of the Healing Humanity events,
Uh-huh.
and he's just amazing. So I
Yes.
want to know everything about you and your coaching and all of it.
Well, hello, everybody. Uh, I did not see myself here 6 months ago. I did not. This was nutrition ever since I began learning 25, 26 years ago has been truly a passion of mine. Even though I've gone down the wrong pathways, it's really been a journey. And so being able to provide therapy, manual therapy, corrective therapy for clients for all these years, it's been difficult because they've expected me to fix them almost. Like, give me, 90 minutes, make me feel better for a few days, and then I'm going to be back on my way. And now I'm looking at them like, you are just so full of inflammation that, there's like, but I can help you more now, right? Like, let's get rid of the inflammation so you don't need me. And I think that's the foundation of everything is, I'm so tired of people outsourcing their health, to the latest gimmick, the latest supplement, the doctor, when they have such power of healing. Like God gave us this miraculous body, and even when we don't take care of it, it's still healing. It's like a continuous, perpetual motion in this life. And so when I've seen people for so many years that just they can't change. They can't give up the carbs or they can't quit eating this or that. And I'm just like, at what cost? So unfortunately as humans, we have to get really sick before we seek out, you know, other paths in life, and that's the unfortunate bit is such human nature though, right?
Oh yeah, Lord knows I was sick and I didn't even realize how sick I was, and didn't even admit it to myself, let alone
Yeah.
go to a doctor for it because I knew what would happen if I went to a doctor, it'd be
Hmm.
surgeries and this and that and so yeah, it's crazy how deep you can get. I knew I needed to get healthy. I knew I needed to get year after year after year. It is like finally the light switch hits and it's like,
Yeah.
you know. So what was kind of that low point for you, if you don't mind talking about it?
Um, so we ended up being plant-based for about 5 years. And through that time, my brother was battling brain cancer. And, I was like, he was like, we're carnivores, and he followed Tom Seyfried with because he does studies with brain tumors and glioblastomas. So he followed him and did the ketogenic diet. But it was still like the chemical shitstorm keto, where you can buy the low carb bread and the tortillas. And so now that I know better, I'm like, we should have gone full carnivore with him. But I was like, you need to be plant based, right? But so he got 5 years, and towards the end, and I'm like, let's just go plant-based. And there were a couple like alternative doctors that were agreeing. They're like, you have to be plant-based, but you have to keep your carbs under 24 grams a day. And I'm like, like this man is 6'2", like, what?
How does that even
But
work? You're
but
mathing.
I know, how can you be plant-based and keep your carbs that low? You're going to be like emaciated, and he's already struggling. I think that's when I kind of started seeing like questioning, like this is not right. But he tried it, and then he passed away. But then my husband and I, we realized how sick we were getting. I couldn't, after work, after working on, 7 clients a day, I came home, I had no energy. I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. And then my husband had all these internal problems. He thought he had cancer. He looked amazing. He was so sick. Looking back at pictures now, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't have cancer, but we never go to the doctor either. Like we didn't realize how sick we were until we are no longer sick, you know?
Right? That's how
Um,
it kind of works. It's crazy.
right. That it's so true because I'm like, oh, my eyes are super dry, or oh, my menstrual cramps are debilitating, but that's life. You don't realize that none of this is really part of how it's supposed to be. Like, none of this is normal, but you just put up with it for so many years that, you know, everybody's got problems, but at least I'm not going to the doctor and getting on medications. I'm not having surgeries or having these big diagnoses, right? Um, so one morning we were sitting in bed and we looked at each other and we're like, what if we went and got a steak? Let's try it. And so we were secretly went out of town, and because of course we've been preaching this plant-based lifestyle, and we had our steak, and on the way home we were crackheads. It was like, I can't even explain. It was like the light bulb went off and there was no going back after that. So that was a couple years ago. Well, actually probably 3. Um, but then it wasn't until it's been about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that my perimenopausal symptoms again were kind of leaving me with no energy, the itchy ears, the dryness, like all the things, the mood swings. And somebody mentioned Dr. Elizabeth Bright. And then I started going down the rabbit hole and started learning about my body at age 48 at the time. Like, it was like the first time I'm actually learning about how our hormones work. And yeah, there was no stopping me after that, because it was just, I quit drinking. I started going through this whole thing, and it took about a year before I started losing weight, because my body, I think, had to heal that much, because I went so many years on the low fat, carb diet, plant-based diet, that I just wreaked havoc on my system, that it did take about a year for it to finally work how it was intended.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here I am.
Yay. Looking
Yeah,
good
right.
too, girl.
But that's what, I had messaged Alia with Dr. Kiltz probably last year. And I'm like, is Dr. Kiltz going to have a carnivore coaching class? Because I'm looking into a couple, and I really like Dr. Kiltz's, because he's one also that doesn't say, oh, you need to go get this supplement. Oh, you have to do this. It's just a solid foundation
Mhm.
of meat,
Yeah.
water, salt, And it was one morning, I was drinking my coffee, sitting on the couch, and the sign up was that day for his coaching class. And I had no idea it was going to happen. I was out of the loop. I hadn't been watching the live streams. And I was like, putting my credit card information in. I'm like, let's do this. I'm taking this coaching certification class, and I have no idea what it is, but I trust Dr. Kiltz. So that was it. And so here I am.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I saw that pop up and I was like, man, I want to do that so bad. But
Yeah.
that's so cool. I think that's why I'm like living vicariously through you a little bit.
We were the beta class, so it was fun. It was definitely, there were like little challenges and stuff, but hopefully we set up a good foundation for other classes, and it'll just keep getting better.
Yeah.
But it's such a great community. I love it. And it's amazing how awesome the carnivore tribe is. I think because so many people are mentally well because they've healed. And everybody's just so embracing, kind, helpful. It's great.
It
As
is.
sure you've experienced all this too.
Yeah, it's like the support has been amazing. Even with like my chaotic life that's been happening this year. Just everybody's been so sweet and I won't be involved much and then I'll get involved and then I bounce kind of back and forth just trying to juggle everything and everyone's so welcoming and oh, it's okay, don't worry, or this or that, or
Yeah.
questions or it's great and I'm learning now that we're going to go into 3 years of carnivore. I think we're 2.5. I can't remember. Yeah,
Congratulations.
it, it,
Yeah.
it's great. And my whole goal in this, before I knew about the depth of healing that you can do, was just to get metabolically flexible, and just
Mhm.
be able to have a little bit of ice, carnivore ice cream once in a while, or whatever once in a while, and be able to bounce back. And what's great is I think I've hit that now,
Mhm.
and I know I get a lot of questions like, oh, you're eating this or you're eating that. I'm like, well, because I'm healed.
Right.
I'm healed to the point where I can have that once in a while or have that bite of like at my granddaughter's birthday, I was getting her some fruit. She wanted some fruit and I accidentally popped in a bite of watermelon, just not even thinking, just like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is this in my mouth? Like immediately hit my mouth like, what's happening? Like so but it didn't affect me hard, like it didn't
Yeah.
affect my body. Now, if I were to eat a whole slice of watermelon, it probably would. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like my husband had French toast this morning. We're in Virginia, and it's like, well, we're in Virginia. You got to have syrup, like you got to have something up here. And so
Right.
he's been like, we've been joking about French toast. So, oh, that smells like French toast. And so he's like, I'm gonna have some. And so I had a
Yeah.
bite of that, and I haven't had bread in 3 years. I was like, what's gonna happen? Nothing. One bite,
Nothing.
but you have to get to that point, and I think a lot of people don't realize that you have to heal first. And like you said, it took you a year to lose any weight, but did you start it to lose weight or do you start it just,
No, I just did it for my hormones. But,
yeah,
I had been so inflamed and puffy and, the belly was happening. And because like I sent you the before and after photos, it was just gradual and it just kept getting worse. But that
yeah,
wasn't my initial thing. And that's where I try to, like, when I'm coaching with anybody, it's like, don't do this for weight loss. Like, don't. You have to heal the body because it took this many years to damage, to get to this point that you have to allow some grace, in your healing. It's not an overnight thing. Healing takes time.
yeah, it does. And sometimes it's frustrating. I think I gotta move this tree. I gotta move over a little bit.
This sun's coming up.
The sun's coming out through the trees. Let's see, I'm trying to hide our neighbors back here. Uh,
But
but
like you were talking about the bread, and my daughter flew in from Colorado because they're going to move back to Indiana this year. And so we drove down to Indianapolis to meet them. And my husband got the bread pudding,
oh yeah,
and it was like shareable bread pudding. It was ginormous. And I'm like, I'm going to have some of that. I'm going to try it. Like, and it was, and like, you're like you, I hadn't had bread like that. And I don't even remember the last time I actually had bread.
yeah,
And on the way home, an hour and a half drive, like my stomach is just like,
yeah,
no, no. And it's not, again, so that is not worth it. But I've had a donut and I'm fine. Do I have sugar cravings for the following days? Yes.
yeah, yeah,
That I have to deal with. It's the
yeah,
repercussions, but it doesn't really affect me too much besides the sugar cravings. But again, I didn't get there overnight. But the
exactly.
bread per se, with that bread pudding, I was miserable
Yeah.
and like not worth it.
Yeah, and he was so sweet. He went and found like the cleanest bread he could find, at the store and everything. So that was really sweet, But
Yeah.
yeah, I found chocolate. It's so funny. I was on like a embarrassing to say, chocolate milk kick for a little bit. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Um, it just we were moving and he was having he has coffee in the morning sometimes and
Hmm.
I just wanted some chocolate milk. And so I'm like, I'm gonna have I'm an adult. I can do what I want.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And it was going great. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, a week or two into it, I'm like, okay, my stomach hurts so bad today. Okay. Is it the
But
milk
that's your
or is it the chocolate? And so then you have to experiment, you know?
right, right. But again, it's like being able to listen to your body and cut out all that food noise and all the supplements and all the things and just be able to, because like I feel out of the loop with a lot of the carnivore tribe because everybody they test like their ketones and that's good for them. They have blood work done. I haven't had blood work done in probably 16 years. I have no idea what my blood work is. I don't know that maybe I had endometriosis and now I don't. Like, I don't know this stuff because I never went to the doctor. So I don't have these grandiose stories to share.
Yeah.
I just have these little symptoms that I had through life, but I don't know what my blood work is. Maybe I should get it done. I don't know.
You probably should. So I hadn't had my blood work done since I was pregnant with my youngest and he just turned 20. And so I think it was last summer, I just had the opportunity. And so I'm like, okay, I was feeling bold. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go to the doctor and I'm gonna tell them I'm carnivore. I'm gonna see what they say, you know. And
Uh-huh.
so I made an appointment with a new doctor and all this. I wore my 0% vegan shirt and I go in. And I'm just like, I just want blood work. And she's like, well,
Yeah.
what's going on? I'm like, absolutely nothing. I've healed this. I've healed this. I'm like going through my list.
Yeah.
Heal this, but how'd you do that? I'm like, change my diet. Well, then she got
Mhm.
very interested and she started asking me a bunch of questions. She ran all the blood work I wanted, and it was really interesting. I was ready for a fight, and she ended up turning carnivore.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The influence, just
And
one person.
she had no idea about the, whole cholesterol myth. She had, and I was just, highlights. I don't go into depth,
Yeah.
can't bring it all up that quick. There's too many cobwebs up here to kind of bring it up that quick. But on the fly. But I was, filling her on the highlights and everything, and I'm like, you should look into it more. And sometimes when you research for yourself, it kind of means more than somebody telling you. And
Hmm.
so I
Right.
just always encourage, look it up for yourself. It's out there. If I can find it, you can find it. Trust me.
Yeah.
And so when I went back to get my blood results read to me, she's like, yeah, I'm carnivore now. It's great, So I never got it. We moved. I didn't get a chance to interview her because I thought that would be fantastic. But it's you never know, And so I
Right.
go do it. It's fun and it's fun. I was like expecting them to be like, "Oh, you need a statin," and I was ready for that.
You're ready for the fight. Yeah. It was kind of
No.
like vaccines, when I would refuse vaccines for my kids. It was like, you know, come at me because I've been called a lot of names with this, but it's like I did my research.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Aw, that's awesome. So,
Oh, should I say that? They might like ban us on YouTube.
I don't care. I don't care.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
But no,
somebody asked
go
me
ahead.
about like subscribers. Are you, because I haven't been putting out, I've been too busy, sorry, to put out videos. And so somebody asked me, I'm like, I don't care. I care about the information going out there.
Right.
I don't, that's why I wrote the books in case you don't want to watch YouTube, you don't believe in YouTube University like I do. I'm a cheerleader for YouTube University. But if you don't, that's fine. I wrote books. Here you go. They're easy to read.
Yeah.
We're at like a fourth grade reading level. I'm not here to make money off of them. Here's the information. And so, if I don't really have any new information to share, I'm not going to spend my time resharing old information. It's already out there. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm crazy like that, you know? So I got to keep moving.
Yeah. No, you guys have been busy.
But
You said you're like on Eastern time now, right?
yeah, we've been in Virginia for I think about a month now. And then we're going down to North Carolina next week for some more work. But
Well, I'm sure the leaves are beautiful out there. Virginia is beautiful.
it is pretty. Do you want me to show you what's out front in my window right now that I'm looking at?
Absolutely.
Okay. If anybody's listening, you might want to look. That's my front window.
Lovely. Ah,
So
to wake up and have that every day. Well, the
yeah,
majority of the time.
yeah, it's great. It's great. It's we're not used to having neighbors like this close to us. Like we've got neighbors and they've been partying all weekend. And so it's been a little hard to work because our work is mostly phone, phone and going out into the city, but now I'm super close. Um so um but yeah, it's been great. I'm super excited to move on and I like to move a lot. So I'm like 2 weeks in one spot's a little long for me. I'm about 3, 4 days. I'm ready to move on, but it's been fun. It's been a learning experience.
Good. You're living life as it
Living
should
life.
be.
We'll see how it works out. Who knows?
Well, you're writing books, you're living life. I mean, you're doing well. You guys are healthy. Like that, that's truly what it's about,
It's
and you're a grandma.
yeah, I miss my baby so hard. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all you can do, and I see your posts are wonderful. Like they're so well written. I'm like,
Thank you.
girl, you need to read a book. You need to write a book. Read a book. You need to write a book.
I do need to read a book.
But yeah, like if you guys are not following Kimberly, and I'm gonna put her information, they always say below. Um, you need to because she's truly amazing and I'm learning so much. And I never want to be the person like, oh, I think I know it all because I absolutely do not. I do not know it all. And I'm always learning and I've learned so much from you, just so much. So I want to know
Thank you.
what was your favorite part of, learning to be a carnivore coach? What surprised you the most? Like, I guess that's two different questions.
No. Well, what surprised me the most is what even after taking anatomy and physiology and all the things, how much like did not know about the human body and how it works. Because it seems so complex and there's a lot of these big words and the whole process and assimilation of everything, but in reality, it's very simple. And that's the crazy thing about it is that bodies are just made really, truly, incredibly simple, but so complex if you just put the right things in it. But that was probably the best thing was really understanding how our systems work. And I was completely clueless. So that was the why, because I want to know, why does this work? Why am I healing? I'm understanding the hormones a little bit more, but now I need to understand the liver. Like I'm that person. I need to know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, same.
that was
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing is I had a doctor tell me one time, he's like, what makes you smart, Kim, is what you don't know. Like that you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't act like you know. And it's been kind of challenging, intimidating because like you said, when you went to the doc to have your blood work done, like you knew like the statins and stuff, but to be able to fluidly say these things is like trying to go through that Rolodex in the brain. Like, okay, how's this work?
Yeah,
But
I know the words, but I also grew up with a dad that never used the real words for anything. So like, he made up words. He had a learning disability. So he made up words for things. And so
mhm,
I'm constantly going back to that. Like I don't know, I can't even think of an example, but I'll never remember the technical name for it, but I'll totally understand the process. You know what I mean? And
right.
so it's it's having that like I guess formal education versus just kind of reading and researching on your own, I guess. And part of my problem is I'm interested in a lot of different things. And so
Hmm.
I'll get off on these tangents and I'll start with one thing and I get off on another thing and so it's great that Dr. Kiltz has this coaching, and can you've just learned so much. I can tell you've learned so much, because
I've
I've
learned a
watched
lot.
you through posting through it, and I don't know. I just think you're wonderful.
Thank you.
You're just
Well,
so
I
full of
think the
knowledge.
confidence is growing, because we have these, doctors, these carnivore influencers that they know so much because they've been doing it for so long. And so to even have a conversation with anybody, it's intimidating because you're things aren't fluid. And so they're getting a little bit more fluid. I'm becoming a little bit more confident. And so for that, like I'm thankful because like I couldn't even my anxiety used to be so bad that I couldn't sit here and have a conversation with you. So just things like that, going to the Healing Humanity event in Ohio was a month or two ago. I went by myself and I just started talking to everybody, doing things, and that would not have been me 2 years ago. I would have been in the corner observing and not really participating because it's, you know, so.
I feel that. Like I went on my first solo work trip not long after starting Carnivore, about 6 months or so, and that was the first time I ever traveled by myself because I've always had a husband
Mhm.
and kids. And so I'm like, I'm a talker. I'll just talk to anybody. I'll talk to them in the TSA line. I'll talk to them waiting for lunch. I'm a talker. Never knew that. So it's funny.
Yeah. Especially like when you go and you have something like there is a topic of conversation that you can, have these, lovely, delightful conversations with. And I think that helped too because, I'm with all these people for this Healing Humanity event and, everybody has a story
Yeah,
to share and I don't think I ever get tired of hearing those stories because it's still it's super cool to hear so many, healing stories and stuff of people who, we were given no option, many, many people. So yeah. So nice.
so tell us about your future. What are your plans?
So I don't know. The universe works in such a way. The economy's been pretty shoddy lately. So it for whatever reason, I've had this I even posted all these openings that I had. I've had my books closed for therapy for years now. Like I'm not taking any new clients. I've been established for many years and I'm having all of these cancellations or reschedules or no shows and like my books are opening up. And so, one of my friends next door to my office, she said, "Do you think maybe that is like, God, universe just kind of slowing you down a little bit and opening the door for your coaching?" And I'm like, absolutely. I totally think so. So I have an interview with a certain person on Tuesday to become part of one of our coaches, like doctors' coaches. So we'll see how that goes, see what the hours are going to look like because I know people are probably going to need more afternoon and evenings and probably weekends. So I'm going to just hear how it goes and see how that works. But I would love to actually like bear witness to people and help guide them into healing. Because again, I don't want people to outsource their health.
Mhm.
I don't like it's not necessary. I think there's times where, yes, do you still need your Western medicine, your pharmaceuticals? There's a time for everything. Is there maybe a supplement that you need temporarily? Like none of these things are organic or are meant for us to have. So it's like let's get a foundation and see what healing truly looks like. And then if we need other things too, we can add later, but I just, in natural alternative therapy, supplements have just been overused, like, it's almost maddening. And I've always been able to tell people, like, where to go get it. I can muscle test to see maybe what you need, what your body's needing, but I won't provide it because I ultimately have always believed that you don't need all the things so yeah, to get people to like really grab a hold of the power that they have with to heal, like it's a beautiful thing, and that's what I really want to help people stop outsourcing and really take control.
That's great. That's so exciting. Oh, Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us. That was amazing.
Thank you for inviting me. I was like driving in town. I'm like, I get to go meet her. Here she's an author. Like she's done all these things. She's brilliant and she wants to talk to me.
I've been dying to
So,
talk to you, girl. Dying.
so
You have no idea.
thank you. Like we didn't even touch on all the things with you. It's like when I get everything set up, like I need to interview you because I like really want to hear like all of these books and your how you got to all these different like peeling away the layers
Yeah.
to be like, I'm going to write a book. Like I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
a new one's coming out. If I get
we
time today, then it'll be out next week. But
is it the one that we were kind of jabbering about with
yeah, bread and
yeah.
circuses. Yeah.
So like I know you're not going to talk about it a lot,
Right.
but like, have there been things like when going down it where you've been like, oh my gosh, like,
The major one that because of most of the research I had already done prior to even deciding to write books, because I've just been into research my whole life. The one that really surprised me was Skin Deep, the one about makeup and skin products, because I didn't go down that rabbit hole a whole lot.
uh,
I was doing the research for that the history of it I found fascinating, and I wish every woman you I don't care how you feel about makeup, just to read the history of how makeup got started and why, I found it fascinating, and I couldn't stop reading about it. So
yeah,
avoid this. But yeah, so that one was fascinating to me. Yeah.
yeah. I think going back into history, like when you look at like historical, it's like, eating like our ancestors did, with anything. It's like once you go back into history and learn this, it's like peeling away
Mhm.
these things
With all the
that,
things that we've forgotten about, but it's
yeah,
not really been forgotten.
right.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
they said it only takes 3 generations to completely erase history.
yeah.
3. And
And
that's really scary.
it is scary. And I think I don't personally care what anybody puts in their body, on their body, does with their body. I don't care. It's your body. But I
Right.
think you should have informed consent. And so my deal is, informed consent. You should know what it does to your body because they're
Right.
lying. They're, oh, it's
Right.
safe and effective. No, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But
Amen, sister.
well, it's so great to talk to you. And
And you as well.
yeah, and I'm gonna put everything below for everybody to find you because you're amazing and everybody should
Thank
follow.
you. You're amazing. Back at you.